shows the results of war.
They never had a leader. There was one guy who was a mufti, which is a religious title, the Mufti of Jerusalem. There was a mufti in Jerusalem named Haj Husseini who formed an alliance with Adolf Hitler and worked for Hitler for a few years in Germany, then came to Egypt and formed these stormtroopers, Egyptian stormtroopers. They never had a leader.
Do you know who I blame a lot of this issue on, right? I blame a lot of it on the British, because what the British did at the time, I watched some sort of documentary a while ago, but I think they made a deal with Palestine before 48, probably in the early 1900s, to get something. I don't remember what it.
Yo, Torian! 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 Can you hear me, Torian? Torian! Torian! Torian!
Yeah, let's commit suicide here.
Torian! Torian!
Dorian, yeah.
Did Max want to go first? Because if they do it, that's fine.
Oh yeah, if y'all don't mind. But yeah, my name is Lex. So the first thing I started doing was music. Then I actually started doing astronomy first. So I would say music and astronomy first. So I'm an artist, and I'm also an astrologer. I'm an author of 2 books. My second book is 500 pages, right? No AI. I wrote a 500-page book, and I'm also a graphic designer and editor. I make clothes. I mix my own music, do my own graphic design. Part-time, I make logos and anything creative for people, really. So I'm a creative entrepreneur. That's
How long did America have 43 states?
Oh, it has 9 stars and 11 stripes, commemorative of 9/11. It was in development since 2013 to 2014. This is what someone said on Reddit. But their name is Barbecue Historian. So.
That's funny. I mean, that actually makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to go back to that website and count the fucking stripes. I didn't actually count the fucking stripes. I hate you, Hermes. You suck me into this fucking rabbit hole of stupidity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is probably a 9/11, some sort of 9/11 flag.
Commemoration.
Yeah.
You've had an interesting room all day today, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm the best.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Mm-hmm. I can only find an actual example of this fucking flag. I'd be very happy. We'll put this to bed and we'll...
Egypt doesn't want any of them. And the comments made to have
Little 117. Maybe drop a turbo in that bitch,
Yeah. Like Leah's now, like Ryan said, it's basically
Hi, Julian. I hate to interrupt you, but can you take that murderer off of your PTR? You're gonna trigger me.
Are you recording the room, my nigga?
Take that PTR down. It's disgusting.
He always records the room, so you must talk in a different accent when he comes around. So that way, if anyone ever hears these buried recordings under all the good YouTube
That's why you should take down that PTR of that murderer, Julian. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. If it was up to me, I'd take a job as a federal executioner so I could be the one who shoots his brains out.
Well, darn tootin', that nigga's my icon.
Well, you're a revolutionary, homicidal ideationist. I can see you do not know the ways of peace or joy or prosperity. I feel bad for you. I'll have to increase my level of compassion.
As he groped my thighs and spread my legs and put his bald head in between my ass cheeks, he whiffled and I farted on his nose tip. And he said, "Oh, Edmund likes that a lot. I like that. Do it once more, but this time, fart while my mouth is open." So, I proceeded.
A fart is just air passing over a turd.
I proceeded to ruffle my stomach once again and fart so deep down his throat.
Our farts wet and lumpy.
He can taste what I had last night for dinner.
You hear that, Julian? This woman is a farter, and you are supporting terrorism, murder, chaos. Shame on both of you. A pox upon both your farts.
You're too old to play this game with us, Edmund. Too old.
Sir Edmund is never too old for frivolity, poetry, and dialectic. I was made for this, to ruin your little LGBTQ party.
You are the L and the T in the party.
They're faggots, not me.
What are you, Julian?
A prancing faggot.
Oh, Camilla is here.
Who's that?
I don't know, but we got a compliment. He wrote, "If it weren't for you, I'd be cranky all day long." Ooh, El Normo has arrived.
Hi, Norm.
No, that's Ryan, I think.
What's that?
I'm in a room called Waiting in Line for Some Food, and I also have another room open called the El Normo Movie by Roger Mayhem.
You're flattering me. You're stroking my ego. What are you doing?
I have an hour of you talking about history, you know, and so we're going to publish the El Normo archive so you don't have to repeat yourself anymore, and you can just refer to your archive.
May I have a copy?
It's all on Clown House. So in this room and then the other room, so under Allen and Wisdom, and in the Roger Mayhem Movie House.
Oh my God! Can't you just send me a copy?
I can't. It's all on the platform. Also in the AdrianDittman.com house. And on YouTube, of course. It's on 10 YouTubes right now. And Instagram.
If it's on YouTube, what's it called?
I don't even know. They're all running.
I just thought it would be entertaining for me to listen to it, but I don't want this to be all about me and my ego. But if you can let me listen to it sometime, I'd be interested.
Yeah, I think it's about an hour. And it's in this room. So when I end this room, you can just click my profile and play the playback of this room, because this room was the recording of your other room that you were just in talking in for like an hour.
Wow. And it's under your identity is Alan Watts or Adrian Dittman?
Wisdom, books, and Alan Watts. This room and the other room. Yeah, I mean, as soon as I end it, it'll take a couple minutes. But do you want to do any final commentary?
I have to listen, then I'll know what fits.
Well, the big thing was you were talking with this this Black British guy, right? And he has his programming, and he's asking you all types of questions. You field every question like you're a shortstop playing for the New York Yankees. Nothing can stop you. So, in summation, like even after talking to McZed yesterday, he was, going on about how the left fails to understand history, and therefore they cannot rationalize this debate because they're incapable of grasping that the current conflict is an extension of the original conflict. So, going all the way back to the 40s. He thinks
Did Zed explain this?
Yeah, McZed yesterday was explaining how people can't see that the war right now is the same war that has been happening since 46, and then maybe even earlier, but
48.
yeah, 48.
Or maybe you mean 46. And was he explaining it to KG, the British black guy?
No, he was in my room. It was called Israel-Palestine Debate Part 2, where I think after the resistance room, I created a follow-up room because he is such a, religion, ethnicity aside, resistance is just one of those horrible people that you hope to never run into in the real world ever. That's the kind of guy he is. So I had to create a follow-up room to continue to discredit him and talk about him and just, try to expunge him from my dislike and anger.
Cleanse the palate.
He is a real piece of work. I mean, imagine being like a social worker having to deal with him for 20 years. Imagine being a psychiatrist having to deal with him. Imagine being a rabbi having to deal with him. He is just one of those, because the vulgarity that he puts out, particularly with regards to women, I mean, he will say the most toxic, abusive things and throw in all kinds of epithets. So he's really bad. Shame on that man.
I agree. All right. Well, thank you for the shout out.
Yeah, I want to produce more El Normo archives. I think you should record all of your sessions because it will help you perfect your public speaking, and you won't feel a compulsion to continue repeating yourself. You'll be more dynamic. You'll bring more evidence. You will just enhance your debate with these individuals, and you will build a coalition or a collective of individuals from the left or from the pro-Palestinian or even Arab Muslim side who side with your opinion making, because you do have this powerful hypnotic ability. People on this app want to listen to you. So, use that power to really help people come to the table of, equilibrium or understanding, I suppose.
Well, thank you for this compliment. I never saw myself as a hypnotist, but this app has brought out a certain side of me for sure.
Yeah, when you're very relaxed, the rooms are very relaxed. When you want to get into it, that's when all hell breaks loose. But I think, if you had the archive, your links, like you could be like a Clubhouse information warrior, like extinguishing fires and plugging holes, at a rate in which you would be like, wow, you can form an anti-Semitic minion. They will like it. I don't know. That's my hypothesis. Is we have to.
Why an anti-Semitic minion?
Because forming a minion is next to impossible and very difficult. If you could form an anti-Semitic minion of people who have converted, well, then you're really going the extra mile, because that's like really impossible. I mean, it is so hard to organize just 10 Jewish men to pray, even through social media. It's like impossible. No one has time for Torah.
You know what? I'm having that problem here.
Well, when it happens, early in the morning is always the best way to do it. But if you go to a synagogue or something and you could convince an actual rabbi to conduct like a 10-minute minyan or some type of like 10-minute Torah study or something. I got into Torah through that website, TorahAnytime.com. Have you ever seen that website? TorahAnytime.com.
No. Is it good?
Oh yeah. Whoa. It's YouTube for Jews. It's kosher YouTube. And it's nothing but lectures. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of lectures. Let me pin the link.
Maybe I have come across it because I do listen to Torah, videos on YouTube. All right, I'm gonna go, but I do want to listen to this. So after the room is finished, then I'll find it on replays.
Yeah, it should come right up. Let me end the room.
I appreciate it.
You're
It's weird that at the end of the day, you're doing me a solid, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm trying to produce your show because I want you to produce my show.
Okay, I find the whole thing amusing, but unlike other people who are friends of mine, like Roger and what's his name, who seems to be gone from the app, by the way, Jordan, they're friends of mine, but I just have a different opinion of you than they do.
Well, because,
I want this.
I mean, for whatever reason, they just don't like being surreptitiously recorded. But, it's impossible to do what I'm doing except, through this app. So if people are going to talk.
It's weird that not only do I not care, but I'm vaguely flattered by it.
Go on Twitter Spaces, you jackass.
Jazzy is upset.
Shut up.
I'm live on
You don't
X right
need
now.
us. You don't need us. If you're so great, you do it your damn self. You're not even paying us, you broke son of a bitch.
Okay. Enjoy it. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you for the Torah Anytime homepage at the top. That was very thoughtful.
Okay, enjoy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well,
Nobody wants to talk to you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I don't want to talk to you.
Well, you're not invited to the summer soiree, so sucks to be you.
I don't do soirees. I'm black. I do summer extravaganzas and barbecue. What the fuck? You didn't know that?
I bet he's not invited to the barbecue.
Brian Sellers, doctor on here, I guess he got kicked again. It clipped completely. He told me he lost his third account, I think.
Is he invited to the cookout?
If he came to Chicago, he would be a welcomed guest.
What if he says the N-word?
I think he'll probably maintain his N-word discipline if it's like a nice barbecue. I mean, I would ask him, please no N-word. At least a soft H, not the hard R. Oh, my CEO is here for the afternoon business meeting. Hi, Chicken Hillary.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I think I hit 11,000 at some point.
Did you post the Elon Musk huge penis superpower autism video?
I did, and I just posted a link to your podcast.
Great.
On here.
See? This is why Jazzy's not going to be invited to the summer soiree after our Elon Musk documentary takes off.
Exactly. You got to do the work, huh? Anyway.
You wanted the screenshot? I have it. Hold on.
What is she talking about?
Remember yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. PTR. Additional what PTR is? Hold on, let me call it.
What?
Look at my picture. This was a review yesterday.
Yeah. Sinwar was also one of those people. Oh, you mean Sinwar? No, there was another guy that they just released also that was part of the Gilad Shalit, and he was responsible for. I think he was responsible for it was a woman. Sorry, she's responsible for planning the Sbarro attack on the pizzeria in Jerusalem.
Oh, yeah.
She's like in Jordan somewhere, and
and they're asking Jordan to. They have a fight. Well, she's wanted by the United States also because she's killed, United States people as well, citizens there. So, so pretty much, FBI. She's like on top of FBI wanted list, and they're offering $5 million for her. But Trump's supposed to meet with the Jordanian king next week. So I mean, who knows what they're going to talk about? But I think that he's going to tell them to open up the doors to Jordan to let all the people that want to leave Gaza to get out.
He did already with Egypt and what was the other country? He tried that, Trump. I mean, he talks about it, but he asked them to take in
this time I think he has nothing to lose. Like, it's not like he has another term to go run for. People already hate him no matter what. So he's going to do what needs to be done, I think. And I think he's going to threaten to take away the U.S. aid to Jordan or to Egypt if they don't open doors and start working with Israel and the United States. That's what I think. But
no, you're right. He'll use leverage like he's doing with everybody. Just today, Mexico. Do you see what Mexico did today?
Yeah, with the terrorists.
Yeah, but now they're sending like thousands of soldiers to the border.
Yeah, I saw it wasn't soldiers. I saw a video. It was like cartel members at the border.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah, it didn't look like soldiers to me. It was and the caption was like it was a cartel, one of the cartels that run on the border there, pretty much saying that they were going to fight the United States Marines.
I saw that video. I know what you're talking about. I know.
Yeah,
but that's a different thing. The sanctions, as in response to the sanction threat, they gave in and they're sending their own Mexican soldiers to guard the border. Stop that. That was one of the conditions. Like, all these people, Venezuela did the same thing. Venezuela is now sending their own plane. They're paying for the scumbags to go back to Venezuela, spend agua and whatever. Good riddance.
This is just the start.
Two questions for you, Mark.
Yes,
First
sir.
of all, so me being Canadian, of course, I'm not Republican. You're a registered Republican.
Yeah.
How did your son do last year?
No, it was me, not my son.
Never found out how your son did in the look.
No, it was me. You're confused.
It was you.
Yeah, my son ran 3 years ago, and I lost. I got 130,000 votes, and I came pretty close, but I did lose. I got like 45%, I think, when it's all counted. So
you're not in Cook County, right?
I am in Cook County, but I'm also in DuPage and Kane, all three counties.
Okay.
It's like almost 1 million people. It's the U.S. congressional district.
I tried to do a comparison, a study 4 years ago, which
We're coming already. Or you want us to stay here?
I'm just going to play the Dow. So I don't know if you want to stick around. I don't know if you want to have a convo, but I'm about to go take a hot bath. So, and Elon Musk goes live in about 30 minutes probably. So I'm going to relax for a little bit. Hope you enjoy the room. This is the Tao Te Ching. I know, I got to end this Instagram here so I can queue up the content, make you content.
views all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. The listener will notice that in the many passages where Lao Tzu describes the master, I've used the pronoun she at least as often as he. The Chinese language doesn't make this kind of distinction. In English, we have to choose. But since we are all potentially the master, since the master is essentially us, I felt it would be untrue to present a male archetype, as other versions have ironically done. Ironically, because of all the great world religions, the teaching of Lao Tzu is by far the most female. Of course, you should feel free throughout the recording to substitute he for she, or vice versa. As to method, I worked from Paul Karas's literal version, which provides English equivalents, often very quaint ones, alongside each of the Chinese ideograms. I also consulted dozens of translations into English, German, and French. But the most essential preparation for my work was a 14 years long course of Zen training, which brought me face to face with Lao Tzu and his true disciples and heirs, the early Chinese Zen masters. With great poetry, the freest translation is sometimes the most faithful. We must try its effect as an English poem, Dr. Johnson said. That is the way to judge of the merit of a translation. I have often been fairly literal, or as literal as one can be with such a subtle, kaleidoscopic book as the Tao Te Ching. But I have also paraphrased, expanded, contracted, interpreted, worked with the text, played with it, until it became embodied in a language that felt genuine to me. If I haven't always translated Lao Tzu's words, my intention has always been to translate his mind. Describing the indescribable, teaching the unteachable, pointing the way to the way. What does Lao Tzu think he is doing here? It can't be done. No way. Hence, Po Chu-yi, poet and stand-up comedian, wrote, "He who talks doesn't know, he who knows doesn't talk." That is what Lao Tzu told us in a book of 5,000 words. If he was the one who knew, how could he have been such a blabbermouth? That's the problem with spiritual teachers. They have to be blabbermouths. But their words are, in the traditional Buddhist metaphor, fingers pointing at the moon. If you watch the finger, you can't see the moon. How meticulous the great masters had to be. A monk asked Matsu, "Why do you teach mind is Buddha?" Matsu said, "To stop a baby from crying." The monk said, "When the crying has stopped, what then?" Matsu said, "Then I teach, not mind, not Buddha." The monk said, "How about someone who isn't attached to either?" Matsu said, "I would tell him, not beings." The monk said, "And what if you met a man unattached to all things? What would you tell him?" Matsu said, "I would just let him experience the great Tao." In fact, the truth is right before our eyes, right under our noses. So simple that every child understands it. And yet, as Bankei said, the farther you enter into it, the deeper it is. Where is the way to the way? What a question. Still, for complicated minds, drastic measures are needed. Lao Tzu's book was written as a response, out of grandmotherly kindness. According to the oldest biography, Lao Tzu lived for a long time in the country of Chu, but seeing its decline, he departed. When he reached the frontier, the guard said, "Since you are going away, sir, could you write a book to teach me the art of living?" Thereupon, Lao Tzu wrote his book about the Tao and departed. This is legend, but it is an accurate description of the way in which true teaching happens. He who knows doesn't talk, but words are no hindrance for him. He uses them as he would use gardening tools. When someone asks, he answers. Tao Te Ching. 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to all understanding. 2. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. 3. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. 4. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. 5. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It is empty, yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. 6. The Tao is called the Great Mother. Empty, yet inexhaustible, it gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you. You can use it any way you want. 7. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself, thus it is present for all beings. The Master stays behind, that is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things, that is why she is one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. 8. The Supreme Good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. 9. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Chase after money and security, and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. 10. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. 11. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. 12. Colors blind the eye. Sounds deafen the ear. Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. form that includes all forms, image without an image, subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it, at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. 17. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, "Amazing, we did it, all by ourselves." 18. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. 19. Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these three aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value avoid what others avoid. How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about, like someone without a home. I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the Great Mother's breasts. 21. The Master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. 22. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. 23. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. 24. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. 25. There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The Tao is great. The universe is great. Earth is great. Man is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. 26. The heavy is the root of the light. The unmoved is the source of all movement. Thus the master travels all day without leaving home. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. Why should the lord of the country flit about like a fool? If you let yourself be blown to and fro, you lose touch with your root. If you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. 27. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He's ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. 28. Know the male, yet keep to the female. Receive the world in your arms. If you receive the world, the Tao will never leave you, and you will be like a little child. Know the white, yet keep to the black. Be a pattern for the world. If you are a pattern for the world, the Tao will be strong inside you, and there will be nothing you can't do. Know the personal, yet keep to the impersonal. Accept the world as it is. If you accept the world, the Tao will be luminous inside you, and you will return to your primal self. The world is formed from the void, like utensils from a block of wood. The master knows the utensils, yet keeps to the block. Thus she can use all things. 29. Do you want to improve the world? I don't think it can be done. The world is sacred. It can't be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you'll lose it. There is a time for being ahead, a time for being behind, a time for being in motion, a time for being at rest, a time for being vigorous, a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe, a time for being in danger. The master sees things as they are, without trying to control them. She lets them go their own way and resides at the center of the circle. 30. Whoever relies on the Tao in governing men doesn't try to force issues or defeat enemies by force of arms. For every force, there is a counterforce. Violence, even well-intentioned, always rebounds upon oneself. The master does his job and then stops. He understands that the universe is forever out of control, and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. Because he believes in himself, he doesn't try to convince others. Because he is content with himself, he doesn't need others' approval. Because he accepts himself, the whole world accepts him. 31. Weapons are the tools of violence. All decent men detest them. Weapons are the tools of fear. A decent man will avoid them, except in the direst necessity, and if compelled, will use them only with the utmost restraint. Peace is his highest value. If the peace has been shattered, how can he be content? His enemies are not demons, but human beings like himself. He doesn't wish them personal harm, nor does he rejoice in victory. How could he rejoice in victory and delight in the slaughter of men? He enters a battle gravely, with sorrow, and with great compassion, as if he were attending a funeral. 32. The Tao can't be perceived. Smaller than an electron, it contains uncountable galaxies. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace, and the law would be written in their hearts. When you have names and forms, know that they are provisional. When you have institutions, know where their functions should end. Knowing when to stop, you can avoid any danger. All things end in the Tao, as rivers flow into the sea. 33. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. If you stay in the center and embrace death with your whole heart, you will endure forever. 34. The great Tao flows everywhere. All things are born from it, yet it doesn't create them. It pours itself into its work, yet it makes no claim. It nourishes infinite worlds, yet it doesn't hold on to them. Since it is merged with all things and hidden in their hearts, it can be called humble. Since all things vanish into it, and it alone endures, it can be called great. It isn't aware of its greatness. Thus, it is truly great. 35. She who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. She perceives the universal harmony, even amid great pain, because she has found peace in her heart. Music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy, but words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there's nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. 36. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results. 37. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. If powerful men and women could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. People would be content with their simple, everyday lives, in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. 38. The master doesn't try to be powerful. Thus, he is truly powerful. The ordinary man keeps reaching for power. Thus, he never has enough. The master does nothing, yet he leaves nothing undone. The ordinary man is always doing things, yet many more are left to be done. The kind man does something, yet something remains undone. The just man does something and leaves many things to be done. moral man does something. And when no one responds, he rolls up his sleeves and uses force. When the Tao is lost, there is goodness. When goodness is lost, there is morality. When morality is lost, there is ritual. Ritual is the husk of true faith, the beginning of chaos. Therefore, the master concerns himself with the depths and not the surface, with the fruit and not the flower. He has no will of his own. He dwells in reality and lets all illusions go. 39. In harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious. The earth is solid and full. All creatures flourish together, content with the way they are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. When man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy. The earth becomes depleted. The equilibrium crumbles. Creatures become extinct.